All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are hearing this, you have once again tuned to the Consequence of Habit podcast. This is your host, JT. Um, I don't know if this is actually going to work, to be honest with you. I just mean this episode. First of all, anyone who listens to this show knows I can't stand doing these solo episodes, but people seem to want them. So I'm going to throw myself out there. But I'm also sick. I don't know if you can tell from my voice. I'm a bit under the weather. So this is going to be a real joy for the crew at Palm Tree Pod to try and edit this through my coughing spells. But nevertheless, here we are. But being sick, one of the things it's allowed me is some downtime and to work through some ideas I've had or some thoughts around these conversations I've listened to, specifically as they relate to artificial intelligence. They're terrifying, to be honest with you. I just got done listening to Tristan Harris speak about this. I finished the highly recommended podcast series called The Last Invention. Especially if you want to be scared out of your mind, then check that one out. But really, what's been rattling around my brain is how this relates to the importance of habits. You know, I've been on here a lot of times that, hey, like habits have never been as important in the history of time as they are now. Um, but I believe it's only going to get, I don't want to say worse. They're only going to be more important. And let me explain why I think that. Uh, to most accounts, people that know that people in the world of tech, they know that AGI. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. And when I speak of AGI, I mean artificial general intelligence. This isn't what we know AI as we do now. This isn't a chatbot. This isn't Anthropic or ChatGPT. This is generalized intelligence. So it's going to be smarter at just about everything that humans do. So if you are in a white collar job, whether it's you're a lawyer, it's accounting, you're a doctor, coding. I mean, we're already seeing some of these job markets being hit by AI, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, there's talks just recently that within, I think it was like 14 months to 24 months, that there's going to be a pretty massive shift. We're gonna use the word shift because it sounds not as scary, but AI will be incorporated into these jobs way more than it already is. And to be clear, you talk to any lawyers out there, and they're already using AI on a regular basis. So the thought I've had is around, well, what does that mean for us? Right? What does that mean when it comes to purpose? What do we do with ourselves when the thing that we do is done by computers? How do we find a sense of purpose? You take the human part out of the human experience, and which is to work towards something very specific in your career field. Uh, what do you do when that thing is done by a computer? How do we move forward? How are we happy? We're already seeing that we have one of the most anxious generations, highest rates of depression, suicide, addiction, preventable diseases. Is AI going to make this better? I tend to think it won't. Um, so there has to be something out there. We have to figure out what we're going to do. Where do we find purpose when our identity, the thing that we do as a career, as a way to provide for our families, what do we do when those things are gone? And I don't think there's a clear answer. I mean, we've seen it already. I mean, there's tons of people that spend a life in whatever career, and they retire, and they're fucking lost. They don't know what to do now. And I think that's going to be amplified by I don't know, a large magnitude. So where does identity and habits, where do they intersect? And that's the thing I've been thinking about a lot. How much of that is dependent on our job, our career? What actions can we take every single day to figure out who we are through our habits? What do we prioritize? And not just the things like waking up and journaling and, I don't know, breath work and cold exposure, but but the habit of connecting with other human beings, to be around other people, to be in service of others, because technology has allowed us to separate ourselves from people. Social media promised us connection, and we're more isolated than we've ever been in our entire lives. And when artificial intelligence starts doing the jobs, the things that you used to provide for your families, the things that you felt a sense of pride and purpose and spent a large amount of time training for, getting degrees for, certifications, when that's no longer needed and we're left with ourselves, how do we move forward? And the only thing I can think of, the only thing I've seen, some in my own life, but a lot of from talking to others, is laying a foundation in your own habits, the things you do when nobody else is looking, the things that you feel proud of, and laying that foundation now, because the time is coming, and I don't think anyone understands what the future really looks like right now. This feels like it's going to be a really bad sales pitch for our Mastering Habits course that we have coming up, but it does pop to my mind, because when we build an identity on the things that we do, not just for ourselves but for others, not your profession, well, those things can't change. That can't be taken away from you. Artificial intelligence cannot take that away from you. You can find your purpose when your actions are in line with what you say is important to you. That builds an identity that can't be taken away. That's not the amount of likes you get on social media. That's real. So it's one of the things that I've been using recently to not pacify, but maybe feel a little less uncertain and scared of what the future brings, because it's coming one way or the other. And from all accounts of what I can see, the brakes aren't going to be put on anytime soon. These aren't my words, but this has been an arms race. We are heading towards AGI, whether we want to or not. And you know, the experts say there is a percentage, a chance that this one either leads to the greatest innovations in human history. And what we're going to do with ourselves, I'm not quite sure whether that means there's going to be a universal income or whatever, or it's going to kill us. I mean, it's one. But even if it's somewhere in the middle, what is certain is that society as we know it, jobs as we know it, are going to shift. They're going to change. So that's terrifying to me. So what can I do? What are the things that are in my control? And what's in my control are my habits. Think of it as like a preparation, an insurance policy that I'm still going to remain grounded and understand what my purpose in life is. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about your own habits as they relate to, hey, if my job as I know it right now was gone and I had time, I mean, obviously sitting around and doing nothing would only create more anxiety, more depression, because that's not what we're built for. We're built for some struggle. So how do I implement that into my life? How do I connect with others? How do I give back to my community? Meanwhile, our digital overlords are filing lawsuits for us or whatever it is they're going to be doing. So that's it. Appreciate you guys listening. Have a good one.